This is my two favorite librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
And I'm Chantel Taylor, and today we're talking about
books that scare us.
So, like books we don't want to read, or...
I was thinking of a couple different things.
Okay.
So, for one thing...
Yes.
I may have mentioned this before. True crime terrifies me.
And I love reading true crime, but it terrifies me too. And I mean, I have many sleepless nights after watching things, and sometimes I can only read in the daylight and then have to have a good buffer between bedtime.
Well, yeah, because you've been telling me about that, the Golden State Killer book.
Yes.
What's that
I'll Be
called?
Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara.
That sounds terrifying. I don't know why you would read that.
I know, in hindsight, it was a mistake, but it was such a good book. He was such a terrifying man, and I'm really glad that they've caught him.
I read The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule years and years and years ago.
And that's Ted Bundy.
Yeah, that's Ted Bundy. I was in university when I read it, and I had nightmares for forever, and I was like, no, I cannot read true crime.
And I can't, I was thinking about it last night, thinking about this podcast, and I was thinking, I don't know why I read true crime, because it's terrifying. You hear the most terrifying things about people that happen to people, what the ridiculous reasons they do things to other people, and it's like, why are you reading this?
That's
and
why
I can't
like
stop.
Fiction, because especially when it's something fantastical like werewolves or zombies or vampires, they don't exist.
And yet zombies are terrifying.
Yeah, they're terrifying, but I can also put that aside and go, oh, that doesn't exist.
I hate zombies.
How about a fictional book that I found really scary? It's kind of your ilk, actually.
Okay.
Walt by Russell Wangersky.
Oh, yes.
So Walt, Russell Wangersky is an author from Newfoundland. So it's Canadian fiction, which I know you don't like, but this one, I think you should read it. I think you would like it. Walt works as a custodian at a grocery store, and he picks up people's grocery lists, and he like makes assumptions about them and stuff, and then he stalks them and maybe kills them. It's a little unclear if this is happening in his mind or if this is really happening. It's I wanted to change my locks and get a big dog, and I have actually started, sometimes you like throw your grocery list out at the grocery store, or sometimes it gets left behind the cart. No, I don't do that anymore. Nope.
Yeah, shredding those now. Stephen King terrifies me.
I love Stephen King.
I read some Stephen King when I was in high school. I read one book. It was a book of short stories with the monkey on the front cover.
Oh, yeah.
It had The Fog.
The Fog is so great.
And it had something else that they've since made into a movie, which I can't remember. But I was like, no, I don't need this in my head. My head is already full of things. I don't need to add Stephen King to it. I don't need that.
I love Stephen King. It's one of my books that I often go back to. Well, books, in the sense that I'll go and read some of his older stuff.
Because you just reread it?
Yeah. I recently, like last year, read Cujo for the first time. I'd never read it. I didn't like that one. It was not that good.
Because I have watched some of the movies. I've watched Pet Sematary. I've watched Maximum Overdrive. That was Stephen King, wasn't it?
Yep.
And I am slightly afraid of my hairdryer after seeing that movie. Every time I pick it up, I sort of think, oh, is this the day?
Oh, then you should read Robopocalypse. Robopocalypse by Daniel Wilson. The robots take over the world, and it's really like they're just so much smarter than we are. It's really a terrifying glimpse at what artificial intelligence could do to us.
I know, I don't understand why people are trying to make their machinery smarter. Why are you showing them commercials and making them write commercials? Why are you doing all these things to make them... Why? Why are we making them smarter, Denise?
I don't know. Robo-apocalypse is going to happen. So what are you reading right now?
So I'm not reading anything terrifying right now. I am reading mostly romance. It's been a lot of romance happening. Some of them good, Some of them not so good. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago Sarah McLean, who's is still one of my author crushes. Just yesterday, her newsletter came out, and she was recommending, and I saw it on Twitter a couple of days ago, Sophie Jordan. She had recommended The Duke Buys a Bride, which is the book 3 in the Rogue Files. So I phoned yesterday to Parsborough and said, please put this book in that. So I've read just a couple of pages in The Duke Buys a Bride, and I'm waiting for number 1 to come today so I can start it this weekend. So Sophie Jordan, apparently she's amazeballs.
Okay, all right.
So what are you reading, Denise?
I'm almost finished The Fall by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan. So that's book 2 of the Strain trilogy. And so it's vampires.
Yeah.
But the vampires have some sort of parasite. It's really, I'm really enjoying it. Apparently it was made into a TV series. I've never seen it, but I mean, Guillermo del Toro is mostly known for his directing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm on book 2 of I Hate Fairyland, Fluff My Life.
Graphic novel. I loved that.
That's a graphic novel that Chantel recommended to me. It's about this little girl named Gertrude. She gets sucked into fairyland when she's 5 or 6, and she's stuck there for 30 years. And
so she ages mentally, but not physically. So she's an adult, but trapped in this little kid's body. And she's the only person to never have gotten herself out of fairyland.
So in the second book, she has now become the queen of fairyland.
She's not happy about it.
No, she is not. So I should mention too, don't forget to join us this summer for Cumberland Reads.
If you're participating in a book club, you're automatically part of Cumberland Reads.
And by book club, she means one of our summer reading clubs.
Yes, so we've got one for adults, 4 teens, 4 children. I almost said adults twice.
Ages 3 to 103. But you can also take part by tagging us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And when you tag us on there, put on the hashtag #GetCaughtReading. And we will enter you in for draws with that, too.
Also, if you see us around the county at events this summer, for instance, Harborfest is coming up and we will be there doing puppet shows, show us your library card. Doesn't have to be a Cumberland Public Library card, any library card. Or show us what you're reading. Show us what's on your phone that you're reading. Show us what paperback you have in your bag. And you can get one of our exclusive library buttons. They're very fancy.
They're very cute. What are we talking about next week?
I think we're talking about books and movies, or books made into movies, or some such iteration of that.
Great. I'll see you next week.
Bye.